Okay, so everybody take a pencil and pass it. Take a book. Maybe one more book. For who? Okay, and then take one and pass it. If you're at home, make sure you have a pencil, not a pen. It's just like math. We do music theory with pencils. Thank you. So we're going to start with this page. It's a rhythm page. Okay? You can write your name at the top. Right where it says name. So at the top, we have a picture of, what kind of a note is this?
Whole.
A whole note. Everybody say whole note.
Whole note.
And write W-H-O-L-E next to it. W-H.
Doing the right whole note.
You can write note also if you want. Whole note. E. O. Mabel O. L. L. E. And how many beats does it get?
4.
Cooey? 4. So it gets, usually we have 4 beats in a measure. So the whole note gets the whole measure. Now what's half of 4? 2. What kind of a note do we know that gets 2 beats? Kira? Half note. So you're going to draw a picture of a half note in each one of these boxes. So it takes 2 half notes to make a whole note. And then in the middle you can write half note. H-A-L-F. So now on the next row, how many boxes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we're going to put taws. 1 taw, so you're going to color it in and draw your stem. So all of these rows equal 4 beats. And the rhythm is getting faster. Right? The notes are getting shorter. So draw 4 taws, 1 in each box. And then you can write quarter note. Q, U, A, T, E, R. Quarter note. So, let's say all the lines that we've done so far. Ready? 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now how many boxes do we have in the next line? 8. So what kinds of notes do we put in there? TT, but look out before you start drawing, because normally we're used to drawing eighth notes in groups of 2.
Is it the
Yes,
flag?
because we only have a room for 1 in each box. You're going to draw it like it is on the paper with a flag. So you draw the
Then it's
top
the same as the top, but just
and the
with
flag. Right, you draw a top and a flag. So you draw your circle, color it in, draw your stem, and a little flag. Did you get all 8?
Yes.
Keep going, Mabel. Make sure your stem is on the right side of the circle, not in the middle. And then right over it, close to it, you can write 8th note. E-I-G-H-T-H. Write it above. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. E-I-G-H-T-H. E-I-G-H. T-H. Okay, so let's count it so far. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good, now follow the bouncing pencil. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So far, so good. Now, how many boxes do we have on the bottom line?
16.
16.
I'm guessing.
Right, because you know we're doubling it, right? So 8 plus 8 is 16. 2 plus 2 was 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 8 plus 8 is 16.
It's like 2 times 16. I mean, it's like 2 times 8.
If you did 16 plus 16, you'd end up with 32. And then instead of 2 flags, you would have 3 flags. It exists. We don't use it a lot, but it does exist.
Does it exist?
And so do 64th notes. But we use those even less. And usually in very slow songs. Okay, so for the 16th note, you draw your circle, your stem, and 2 flags. So make sure you put space between those flags so we can see that there are 2 flags. And you get to draw 16 of them. Keep going. All the way across the line. Draw them nicely, but don't get too worried about it. This is an art class.
Done.
Okay, and then underneath it, we have the longest word, 16 notes. S-I-X-T-E-E-N-T-H. 16 notes.
S-I-X-T-E.
Okay, so now write 16th notes. S, I, X, T, E, E again, N, T, H, T, H. We need an H. Okay, so let's count the whole thing. Ready? Go. 1, 3, E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Should we do the 1 E endas again?
Yeah.
Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And I'm just going to write a little something here for myself because it's weird looking at it sideways. Okay, follow the bouncing pencil. A little slower. Ready? Go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 E and a. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2, 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. 1, 3 E and a 4 E and a. So when you're playing, one of the trickiest things is when you go from a really slow rhythm to a really fast rhythm. Like you have a whole note and your brain starts thinking about what was for breakfast, and then you get to the next measure and all of a sudden you have these 16th notes and your brain goes, ah! I wasn't ready for that! So instead of thinking about what was for breakfast when you're in the whole note, your brain has to think 16th notes. So the whole time, part of your brain is going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So whenever those pesky 16th notes show up, you're ready. So who wants to be the brain? Kira's going to be our brain. Okay, so you are quietly and clearly going to say 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. You just Ready? Do one measure for practice.
1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4.
All right, the rest of you are going to follow the bouncing pencil, Edu. Follow the bouncing pencil, please. Close your book. Thank you. Ready, go. 1, 2, whoops, sorry. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, E and a. 1, 3, 4, E and a. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 3 E and a 4 and. 4 and. Yes, well done. So if you want to work on this at home, because we can never do too much rhythm work. It's just something that has to become like language to you. We don't think about the words you need to say when you're talking, and you can't have to think about the rhythm when you're reading music. So I would play that game at home. I would take this home and I would move my own pencil around 4 beats at once and just get used to it. Put the metronome on if that helps, right? So now we have some math problems. It says copy your answers from each shaded box into the table. So it says number 1, so we find the box that says number 1, and you copy the half note.
Then you do the note.
Copy the half note next to the number 1. You can look up here if you're not sure. Put the half note next to the number 1. Okay, and then what's number 2? What do we have? Quarter note. So draw the quarter note next to the number 2. No, where you go? We're not doing number 3 yet. Please stay with us. We haven't finished this. We have to fill that in. Okay, thank you. So how many beats does the half note get? 2. And the quarter note gets 1. So we have. So what kind of a note do I draw that gets 3 beats? Ruth?
A half note with a dot.
A dotted half note, yes. Draw a half note with a dot. Catherine, draw a half note with a dot in the empty box. No, you're right. Kira, can you show her?
Here?
That's, yeah.
Like you did?
Yeah, just.
Like you did before? With the quarter. And here? With the half note? With it like this one? Just with it here.
Thank you. Okay, now we find box number 3. What do we have?
A quarter note.
So draw your quarter note next to the number 3. And in box 4, what kind of a note do we have?
8th note.
An 8th note. So draw your 8th note next to the number 4 with 1 flag.
How much will that equal to?
Well, let's see. So the quarter note gets how much? 1. And the 8th note gets how much?
Half.
Half. So how much do we have?
2.5? No. 1.5.
1.5. So what kind of note do we draw that gets 1.5 beats? How do I add half?
A quarter note with a dot.
A quarter note with a dot. Remember that dot always adds half of what the note is worth. And in the case of a quarter note, it adds half of one beat. Okay, now box number 5, what kind of note is it? Eighth note. Box number 8, what kind of a note is it?
The 16th note.
16th note. Interesting.
I think it was.
Hold on, let everybody catch up. So remember, when you draw your 16th note, you need 2 flags. So how many beats do we have?
3? No, 1.5.
We don't even have 1 beat.
Like
We don't even have 1 beat.
I did not in English.
Can you say it in Polish? Mommy can help. 3/4. So let's draw a handy dandy pie. Right? So here's our pie. The 8th note is half of a beat. The 16th note, it takes 4 16th notes to equal a ta, right? So the 16th note is only a 4th of the pie. So we have 1, 2, 3/4 of a pie. We're missing a 4th. Okay? So how are we going to write a note that has 3/4 of a beat? Any math wizards in the room? Really? Take a shot.
A quarter note with 3 lines, with 3 flags.
Well, that would be a 30-second note. So a 30-second note is equal I can't even do it. You need a really big circle. So those are 16th notes. So a 30-second note no wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Those are 16th notes. So a 30-second note, I'd have to split all of those into half again. So I think that's the wrong way. Your answer got smaller. We need to add this plus this. What kind of a note? Kira, take a swipe at it.
Okay, here. I think can you draw a TT with a dot?
You're on the right track, but not a TT, because a TT gives me a whole pie.
Do you draw the
18th with a dot?
An 8th. Everybody say 8th.
8th?
Yes.
8th with
An
a dot.
8th note is half of a beat, and the dot adds half, which is a 16th note. So yes, well done. The answer is an 8th note with a dot. 1 flag with a dot. Good job.
Most of them are with a dot.
You're catching on. Okay, number 5, what kind of a note do we have in box 5?
An 8th note.
An 8th note. So draw an 8th note next to the next number 5. And then box number 6 is another 8th note.
This is easy.
Okay, so 8th note plus an 8th note, how much do we have? Edu, can you keep helping mommy, please? You can draw the notes. Even if you don't understand the math, you can draw the notes.
It's equal to 1 half.
One beat. So what do I draw?
A top.
Use vocabulary, please. Do I draw a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, an eighth note, or 16th note? A quarter note, yes. If you have graduated from book 1, you need to move away from tas and TTs and graduate to quarter notes and eighth notes. You need to upgrade your vocabulary. Okay, one more. Number 7. What kind of a note is in box 7?
16.
A 16th note.
They're both
And what kind of a note is in box 8?
16.
Another 16th note. So how much do I have, Kira? An eighth note, half of a beat.
Because it's halfway.
So make sure when you're drawing your flags, make sure I can see 2 flags for the 16th notes. Oops.
There's more behind here.
There is. There's always more.
Can I do more?
I'm so glad you asked. So yes, when you've caught up, flip it over. You do not need to write your name again,
I did.
I don't like.
unless you really like writing your name.
I really like.
Okay, so we have a story. Well, no, we don't have a story. We have some questions. We have some yes or no questions, but we don't know what the question is until we figure out the names of the notes. So, Alana, what is our first note here? Yep. So write a C in your first blank. Olivia, what's the next note? A. Not yet. Catherine, what's the next note? You can look on your paper.
G.
G. Edu, what's the next note?
E.
Yes. Mabel, what's the next note?
A.
A. Alma, what's the next note?
G.
Ruby, what's the next note? Mm-hmm.
I didn't answer.
Can you change your age?
No.
Not really, no. Your age changes, but you can't do it. No.
You're what? You're 8. I see. Can you? It's like a word.
Right.
And
Okay, question number 2. What's the first note? Olivia. Who said that? B. Yes, said yours. Kira, what's the next note? Yeah, you. Kira, what? E. Yes, I thought you said B. Alana, what's the next note? C's on the 3rd space. This is on the 4th space. You did say E, okay.
I know something with a B. Can a B?
Alma, what's the next note? F. Catherine, what's the next note?
E.
Mabel, what's the next note? Can a bee charge a fee?
What's a
What is
fee?
a fee?
It's like when you pay for something.
No.
No. Olivia, what's the next note?
B.
B. Kira, what's the next? Oh no, I asked you that one. Ruby, what's the next note? Kira, what's the next note? Huh?
G.
Catherine, what's the next note?
G.
We did the G, so now we're looking at this one. E.
No.
Mabel, what's the next note?
E.
E's on the bottom line. What's on the second line?
C.
G. And the next note's the same. Can you beg for an egg?
No.
What is bag?
Yeah, you can.
I guess you can.
Oh yeah, you can.
Like,
Oh.
please give me an egg.
But I wouldn't know.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I would. It's my favorite thing for breakfast. Okay, what's our next note, Alma?
E.
Mm-hmm. Alana, what's the next note? B was on the line. So what's the space below B? It comes before B in the alphabet. Mm-hmm. Olivia, Catherine, what's the next note? Catherine, what's the next note? Catherine, what's the next note? You know your notes. What's the matter? Right there. What's that note? What do you think? Is it Q? Z? What is it? Did you count from A? Count from A, ready? A, B, and then C, and then A, B, C. Can you tell me? Catherine. A, B, C, D, yes! Kira, what's the next note? A. Mabel, you need your A right there. And then Olivia, what's the next note?
D.
D. Can you sit up, please? Is it bad to add?
No.
No. Kinga, are you with us more or less?
Yes, we just caught up.
Okay, so Edu, what's the next note? close, but C's on the space.
E.
Are you guessing? Okay, I'm gonna come back to you, okay? Alma, what's the next note? B.
B.
B. Ruby, what's the next note? A. Mabel, what's the next note?
C.
What comes before A in the musical alphabet? When you see this in your right hand in your reading book, you always know what it is. G. So our next one is also a G. Okay, Edju, what comes after our G?
D.
When you play your violin, what do you play when you see that one?
A.
A. And then a G. Can a bag gag?
What does gag
That's
mean?
funny. Gag is like when you feel like you're gonna throw up.
Maybe if you add too much things, it can.
Can a bag? Alana's not sure about this one. Yeah, I would have to say no.
But it can still vomit.
I guess your options for words out of these notes are pretty limited. Okay, can you? Kira, what's the first note? F. Alana, what's the next note? E. Mabel, what's the next? Oh, Catherine, what's the next note? E. Good job. And then Mabel, what's the next note?
D.
D. Alma, what's the next note?
C.
C's
Wait,
on the space.
Here?
Mhm.
B.
B. Olivia, what's the next note?
E.
E. Ruby, what's the next note? Catherine, what's the next note? B's on the third line. Mabel, what's on the fourth line?
D.
D. Can you feed a bead?
No.
A bead? Like,
A bracelet.
yeah, like the
Here.
little things that, yeah, those are beads. No, you cannot feed a bead. All right, well done. So we don't do a lot of worksheets, but sometimes it's good to have to write it down and think it through, right? Okay, so who are my teacher helpers? Catherine, can you pick up all the pencils? And Kira, can you pick up all the books?
Should we take the pages?
You can take your pages home. Your souvenir from your favorite music class ever.